All right, guys, so we got to talk about a hilarious story that I tried to warn the woke revolutionary employees at Netflix about, right? Which is that these woke companies, all they really care about is the bottom line, okay? The only race they really care about is green. And they're not actually really woke, right? None of the executives that run that company, right? None of them actually believe the things that they say. They simply say it because they think that it's going to help them with the bottom line, right? They're simply in it to make money, okay? So with that being said, they will put out content that they believe is going to make them money, even if it's woke, right? Even if they don't necessarily agree with it, until it becomes apparent that the content that they're putting out there is not going to make them money, right? If people backlash against the content saying that it's too woke, we don't like it, it's not something that is appealing to their audience, they're gonna cut the woke content. They're gonna get rid of the wokeness because the wokeness is not good for the bottom line, right? And again, I was giving these employees this warning because when they were speaking out against Dave Chappelle, right, they was protesting, calling the man transphobic. I said, listen, Dave Chappelle is the reason why you guys have jobs, okay? Netflix paid that man a healthy amount, right? They paid him a king's ransom because he was bringing in a king's ransom for Netflix, right? They was making money off of him. So you're telling Netflix to boycott the man that is responsible for you guys having jobs, right? And the woke Netflix employee suggestion was, hey, let's get rid of Dave Chappelle and let's promote more trans-friendly / LGBTQ friendly content. And I said at the time, that's not gonna work, right? What's gonna happen is that you're gonna end up losing your jobs because nobody wants to watch that, right? That is just the reality of the situation. Nobody wants to watch woke LGBTQ plus friendly content. They don't want to watch it, right? So without somebody like Dave Chappelle, you guys can get fired. And if it comes down to Dave Chappelle versus you, again, the Netflix is gonna go with Dave Chappelle, right? They're gonna follow the money. And lo and behold, right, about a half a year later or so, Netflix is having a woke purge as the troubled streaming giant's latest layoffs targets 150 staff who were among its most vocal social justice warriors working on original content about marginalized communities. Ding, 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 ding. Who would have thought? Netflix, when they're struggling, when they're trying to pad the bottom line, right, they're going to cut some fat off the company, right? They're going to trim the fat. They're going to trim the employees that don't have a positive return on investment for them, okay? And this is why I said at the time when they was protesting about Dave Chappelle and all this other stuff, I said, look, y'all better be careful. You better be careful, right? Because if it comes between you and the money, they're always going to go with the money. So let's actually read about this because I found this to be absolutely hilarious. Netflix's recent action of 150 staff targeted many of the firm's wokest workers who are prolific social justice warriors on social media. The struggling streaming service has pulled a plug on several projects that were aimed at discussing race and LGBTQ issues, Variety reported, and asked the diverse employees working on and promoting them. In addition to the layoffs, the company also fired nearly 70 employees working for its social media and publishing teams focused on marginalized communities. They included Strong Black Lead, the Asian-focused Golden, the Latino-focused Contodo, and the LGBT-focused Most, right? So they cut all the woke groups, right? Everybody that was woke, they was like, yeah, you're done. Why? Because they don't make money, right? They don't provide a positive return on investment. Netflix claimed its latest layoffs were due to a slowdown in revenue and decline in subscribers, but they represented just 150 of the firm's 11,000 staff, sparking speculation at a purge of medicine woke staff was afoot. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. It's, hey, let's trim some of the fat, and yeah, these people are annoying, right? They're more trouble than they're worth. Among the newly fired were Olivia Travata Wong and Lydia Wang, who slammed the streaming giant for axing them and their colleagues. Quote, I was also laid off by Netflix today, Wang tweeted on Tuesday. I really love my job and my colleagues, and I am a little heartbroken. Trafat Wong also wrote on Tuesday, okay, yes, I am one of the Totem layoffs. LOL. I did a lot of work I'm proud of, met a lot of really awesome writers and editors, and made great fans. It's the cycle of media life. H. Drew Backburn, another laid-off employee, recalled the turbulent saga where he did not know whether or not he had a job or not. So these are some of the woke employees, right, that were fired, unfortunately. Again, I'm not celebrating anybody losing their job. I'm just saying, you got to be aware of this stuff when you have a job that's about diversity and inclusion, right? When you're in a job role that does not provide a positive return on investment, when you are a net loss for the company, you have to be aware that when things go wrong, you're going to be the first ones to go. So you shouldn't be so vocal, right, about certain things that aren't in the best interest of the company. An editor at Netflix's Little Totem project just called me, offered me a job with Totem again, Blackburn tweeted after he was fired, then called me back 20 minutes later to say they had the wrong Drew. Bright minds over there for sure. Totem is Netflix's marketing website, which offers fans more in-depth information about its shows. Most of its employees were women and people from minority groups. Netflix's move also drew backlash from media critics and other animators who slammed the streaming company for leaving its employees high and dry after previously preaching the need to have a more diverse workforce. Well, again, they was just saying that to a certain point. As long as the bottom line is good, okay, fine. We're totally fine with preaching about this. But when the money's at stake, the only diversity that matters, the only color that matters is green. Filmmaker Carly Houston called Netflix a joke and tweeted, is Netflix only laying off the teams associated with making and promoting content for marginalized viewers? That's what it seems like. Well, they're laying off the people that are associated with producing content that doesn't have a positive return on investment, which happens to be the woke content. Carla Monteroso, who works to secure economic opportunities for women of color, tweeted, Netflix hired a powerhouse team of creators from a variety of marginalized communities, and they were performing exceptionally well. Had us all invested in their work. They were then the first people they showed the door at the first financial difficulty. Duh. Of course. Matt Acuna, an animator for Bob's Burgers, also criticized Netflix for the layoffs while taking on other projects with wealthy backers. He tweeted, what a great day for Netflix to announce they're giving Ron Howard, a millionaire with no experience in animation, full control of animated movie, while simultaneously snuffing out projects specifically focused on marginalized groups. Funny timing, ha. Well, I mean, they're chasing the projects that are going to make money off of, right? They're a company. They're supposed to do what's in the best interest of the bottom line, right? The firings come after Elon Musk claimed the firm's tanking share price was due to its content being affected by the woke mind virus. True. Netflix's show about a pregnant man he's expecting was cited as a prime example of content designed to appeal to a tiny minority that had sent viewers switching off in their droves. Now, here's the thing about that show. Apparently, there's some people that have watched it that said that it's not that woke, right? It's about a universe where men can get pregnant, I guess. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. It's Japanese. Japanese people are sometimes into weird things. But at the same time, let's not sit here and act like there's not a woke aspect to it, right? Even if the setting is in an alternative universe where men can get pregnant, that's not too far from the universe that the woke revolutionaries think that we're living in, okay? I'm just saying. Woke staff anger at Dave Chappelle's The Closer comedy special also illustrated the internal strife at the firm. A small but extremely vocal minority of Netflix staffers accused the streamer of harming transgender people by letting Chappelle defend author J.K. Rowling unchecked. It's unclear if any of those staffers who protested outside the office have since been given their pink slip. Earlier this week, Netflix announced a new crackdown on woke staff who try to interfere in shows they deem harmful or which leave viewers feeling unsafe. In a memo to employees following the mass layoffs, Netflix heads told their staff, quote, as employees, we support the principle that Netflix offers a diversity of stories, even if we find some titles counter to our own personal values. Depending on your role, you may need to work on titles you perceive to be harmful. Quote, if you find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. AKA, if you can't work on titles, right, you can't work on projects without getting triggered, then leave, right? Leave the company. Go. Okay, because again, you are a burden. You are a net loss. Okay, you are a drag on the bottom line. Netflix has also strapped a host of woke shows, the most famous of which is Meghan Markle's doomed animation Pearl, about a socially conscious girl said to have been based on Meghan herself. Nobody's gonna watch that. Other scrap projects include Anti-Racist Baby and Stamped Racism, Anti-Racism and You, two adaptations by critical race theory expert Dr. Emma X. Kennedy, as well as a kids fantasy series Wings of Fire from executive producer Ava DuVernay, and children's film With Kind Regards from Kindergarten. Yeah, so again, it's no coincidence, guys, that not only are they scrapping the woke employees, they're also scrapping the woke shows, the ultra woke shows. Well, again, why is that? Because people don't want to watch that shit, right? They don't want to watch it. It is what it is. And again, I found this to be fascinating because a lot of these companies that are parroting these woke values, I'm like, guys, you cannot be making money off this, right? They think they're making money off of it, but I'm like, no, you can't be making money off of it. It has to be more trouble than it's worth. Most people, even if they are a little woke, right? Even if you are, center left or whatever, they don't want this stuff forced down their throats 24/7. They just don't. The most notable of the scrap works was Anti-Racist Baby, based on Kennedy's book of the same name, which had been envisioned as a series of animated vignettes set to music and intended to explore racism in America. Netflix had previously said that the show would leverage the power of earwarming songs to empower kids and their caregivers with simple tools to uproot racism in ourselves and society. They must have seen the backlash from the parents against critical race theory being taught in schools, right? Understanding that, maybe parents aren't going to want to subscribe to Netflix if their kids are going to be exposed to shows like this that tell them that they're racist because of their skin color, right? Again, Netflix has caught on, okay? They've caught on. Also canceled was a documentary written by Kendi titled Stamped Racism, Anti-Racism and You, which was aimed at teens and young adults. Netflix is still proceeding with a third Kendi project aimed at adults titled Stamped from the Beginning. Again, ding, ding, ding. Sure, you can put this stuff out here for adults, but for kids, that is a line crosser for a lot of people, right? Look at what's happening to Disney, right? Look at what's happening to Disney. Also scrapped was the kids fantasy series Wings of Fire, based on a book series by 2T Sutherland, which would have seen famed black filmmaker Ava DuVernay as an executive producer. Although a fantasy story, Wings of Fire explores themes of racism and prejudice through its fictional world. Another project, which was released by a film adaptation of Adam Klein's With Kind Regard from Kindergarten, was also canceled by Netflix. All right, so yeah. Netflix, again, has basically canceled their woke employees and their woke projects. Again, why is that? Because people don't want to watch this stuff. People don't want to see this stuff. Okay? And it is apparent, right, that what people want to watch is stuff like Dave Chappelle. They want to watch not woke comedy. They want to watch not woke TV shows that isn't focused on telling people how bad they are because of their skin color or their race. Okay? And when the bottom line's at stake, the first thing that Netflix is going to do, they going to cut the fat, right? They're going to trim the fat off the company because they know that these people don't have a positive return on investment and that they are actually burdens on the company, right? They are more trouble than they're worth, which is what I said from the beginning, right? Which is why I warned them about these protests and saying all this stuff, because I'm just like, y'all are the first people that's going to get fired as soon as the company starts experiencing financial trouble. And lo and behold, this is what happens, right? Netflix, the only color they actually really care about is the grid, right? That's called capitalism. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.